Hello learners, this is Pragati. Our topic for today is motifs and decorative elements in visual arts. It's a very different topic, but it is very important from various point of views, which you'll soon realize as we progress in our lecture. So let's quickly start. Firstly, we are going to look at a basic definition of motif. So motif is a decorative element that we have in art, design, architecture, and textile. It can be both figurative and geometrical. Figurative means that when it is taken from something that we have in the natural world. And geometrical is more of a kind of abstract when it does not represent something in the natural world. A motif may be repeated to form a pattern or it may just occur once in a work. Now these are some examples of motif that we are going to study in this lesson. First motif is Palmette. It's the oldest of a motif because we can trace back its origin to ancient Egypt, almost 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. And it was originally based on various flowers such as lotus or lily and even papyrus. And later we started associating it with fan-shaped leaves of the palm tree. And in Greece, we have another name for it, that is enthymeion, which is a Greek word for flower. The motif predominantly occurs as an architectural ornament, whether carved or painted. And the evolution of this motif was first documented by an Austrian art historian, ALOIS RIEGL, in his book Stilfragen, which is in English means History of Ornament, and it was published in 1893. So this book, I'm going to include a PDF of this book in which you can look at various motifs. It is very beautifully illustrated, and if you want to take a look, the link will be in the description box. Some other variation of the Palmette are flame Palmette and half Palmette. Flame Palmette we are going to study in detail, and half Palmette will be this Palmette divided into half, vertically bisected. Let's quickly look at the origin of Palmette, how it began as lotus or lily. This is a stela of Pepi, chief of potters. Stela is a great stone that is carved in relief in the memory of the dead, and it is dated around circa 1800 BCE. You can see the depiction of lotus over here and here. Again, we have a picture of Nefertiti bearing a lotus as his crown. So lotus was very sacred for Egyptian, and it used to symbolize the union of Upper and Lower Egypt. Again, here we have lots of lotuses here, here, and in the marshes all over here. This is basically a tomb painting, Mena and family hunting in the marshes, Tomb of Mena. It's a facsimile by Nina M. Davies. Nina M. Davies was an Egyptologist as well as an illustrator. She has illustrated various Egyptian tomb paintings, and they are published in a book. Link I'm going to include in the description box in case you are interested in looking at it. As we move further in time, the shape of the Palmette changes. We are now looking at a Neo-Assyrian Palmette. Now, Assyria was an ancient Mesopotamian civilization that later became an empire, and this is from the reign of Ashur-nasir-pal II. So we have a central Palmette and then the motif repeated all around it. This is also from the same period, and it's a plaque, and you can look at the fronts of the Palmette. Next, we have a band of Palmette on an ancient Greek vessel. It's dated around circa 510 BCE, and this is an ancient Greek pottery painting that we are going to study in a different lecture. And this is an Etruscan mascaron, and we have Palmette over here that are very much similar to what we have on the Greek vessel. Now, Etruscan was an ancient civilization in Central Italy, and mascaron is basically a decorative element in architecture, and it's often a human face, a grotesque or frightening human face, and its purpose is to drive away evil spirits. And it is generally placed on the entrance of a building. Well, this one is not so frightening, is it? Do let me know in the comment section. This is an ionic frieze from Erecthium. This is from Athens, from Temple of Athena Polias. Now, Athena was the patron deity of Athens. She is the goddess of wisdom, warcraft, and handicrafts. This is now in Glyptothek Museum in Munich, Germany. It is dated around circa 421 to 406 BCE. And this one is Palmette. This we have Acanthus motif. Above and below it we have bead and reel motif. And this one is also a variation of Acanthus motif. Now Acanthus motif and bead and reel motif and rosette we are going to study in the next part of the series. So this is a 3-part series on motifs and decorative elements. So please subscribe to the channel because I don't want you to miss any of these. Next we have a variation of Palmette, that is flame Palmette. Originally Palmette tended to have sharply splayed leaves. But from 4th century BC, the ends of the leaves they started to turn in. In this you can see how the fronds or the leaves are turning outwards, splayed out. And there's also a reason why we call palm of a hand palm. You can just stretch your palm and look at the fingers how they are splayed outwards, hence the name palm. And Palmette is also very closely related to Hamsa or hand motif, which is basically symbol of palm of a hand. Now in this you can see they are turning inwards, and we had another name for it, that is flame Palmette, and this started from the 4th century BCE. The design was adopted in Hellenistic art and architecture and became very popular following the conquest of Alexander the Great. Now we have flame Palmettes on a ceiling. This is called the tomb of Palmette because of these Palmettes depicted on the ceiling. And this is from Macedonia, Greece, circa 300 to 350 BCE. Here also the fronds are turning inwards. Then we have flame Palmettes depicted on a mosaic floor from ancient Pella. Now Pella was the birthplace of Alexander the Great. Subject is Amazonomachy. Amazonomachy was basically a battle in ancient Greek mythology that happened between the Greeks and Amazons. And Amazon was basically a female nation, a complete all over female nation warrior tribe. You'll come across battles like Amazonomachy, Gigantomachy, and Centuromachy in ancient Greek art. It's a very popular subject. This is a work from early Mauryan Empire, Patliputra capital, and it's presently in Patna Museum, India, dated around 3rd century BCE. And we have lots of motifs depicted here that are going to be the part of this series. We have scroll, or particularly Vitruvian scroll. Then we have rosettes over here, these 4. And this one in center is flame Palmette. And flame Palmette we also have here and then at this side and at the back. So you can look how the leaves are again turning inwards. Then this is also a work from India, the Mathura lion capital with the central flame Palmette, circa 100 BCE. And this is a pilaster from Mathura, circa 200 CE. Here. So you can see there is a difference of 300 years between these two works of art, but the design continues to exist and remains popular throughout the entire time period. This is basically evolution of Palmette during different eras. First we have Greek, then this is a Roman version, these two B and C. D is a Byzantine version. E1 is from the Renaissance, F is Baroque, and G is from the Empire style, that was the second phase of Neoclassicism. This is a work from Byzantine period, a Byzantine ivory depicting Archangel circa 525 to 500 CE. Here you can see the Palmette over here. Then this one is a mosaic from San Vitale, Ravenna, Italy, 527 to 547 BCE. Again a Byzantine work. And the Palmettes are over here. This and all over there. Then I'm showing you Renaissance architecture. And here you have Palmettes on the facade of this church. Over here, this, and here. And this one is a scroll, and this is a rosette, and this is a rose window. So Renaissance was all about symmetry, harmony. So you can look at this facade, how symmetrical it is. They were looking to ancient Greece, art of classical antiquity, which was all about ratio and proportions, about proper geometry. So you can see that in it, a symmetrical architecture. And if we divide this facade from the middle, then the left side is a mirror image to the right side. Then we have Baroque Palmettes in the Church of Jesu. This one over here and this. And they are quite ornate. That was the characteristic of the Baroque period. Actually, I was researching for some other topic and then I came across this sculpture by Bernini, and soon I realized that Palmettes were depicted on the pillow. So I thought I must include this in my lecture because they are just all around us. And if a thing is all around us, it starts becoming insignificant, which I just don't want them to be. So this is a very important example where these Palmettes have been given a special place by Bernini in his sculpture. This is Ecstasy of Blessed Ludovica Albertoni. So these motifs basically I want to say are very important and they continue to exist to the present day. And as we are going to proceed further and further in a mission to explore art from different periods, from different places, we will always come across these in some manner or another. This is a work from Rococo period, Palmette detail on capital of Angelsel Abbey. This is in Austria. Here you can see the Palmettes. Now Rococo was a late Baroque style. The word comes from rocaille. Rocaille was an exuberant decorative style during the reign of Louis XV of France. And the characteristics are curves and counter curves, undulation that are modeled on nature. Then this one we have from the neoclassical period. Neoclassicism basically means new classicism, where again the artists were looking back at classical antiquity for inspiration. So this is the Palmette, which is very similar to what we had during the art of classical antiquity. Then our next motif is Acanthus motif, and this comes from the deeply cut leaves of the Acanthus genus of plants. According to ALOIS RIEGL, in his book Still Fragrant, he claimed that Acanthus motif originated as a sculptural version of the Palmette and then later began to be associated with Acanthus spinosus. Acanthus ornament has been extensively used in capital of Corinthian and Composite order, and it continued to be used in Byzantine, Romanesque, Gothic architecture, and it saw a major revival during Renaissance and is used to the present day. So this is the leaf, Acanthus leaf, and then I'm showing you the Acanthus ornament, which is very similar to the Acanthus leaf. This is a reconstructed Corinthian capital with Acanthus leaves. So you can see the deep cuts over here. Then let's look at other works. This is again Acanthus motif during different eras. This is Greek, Roman, Byzantine, Romanesque, Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque, and then Rococo. And this is again from the Handbook of Ornaments by Franz Mayer. Here we are looking at a Greek Corinthian capital from Tholos at Epidaurus. This is an archaeological museum of Epidaurus, Greece. And this is said to have been designed by Polykleitos the Younger, who was a famous artist, basically sculptor, an architect from ancient Greece. You can see the deeply cut leaves. Each and every cut made with a lot of precision. This is dated around 350 BCE. Then we have acanthuses on the Temple of Hadrian. This is in Turkey, circa 117 to 118 CE. The acanthuses are over here. This and then this. And the central figure is of Medusa, who is one of the three Gorgons from Greek mythology. And Medusa had snakes in place of the hairs. And her appearance was so frightful that everybody that looked upon her was turned to stone. Acanthus's decoration on a series of Corinthian capital from Gandhar, found at Jamalgari. Now Jamalgari is presently in Pakistan. It is a site of ancient Buddhist monastery. It was excavated and various work related to Greco-Buddhist art were found there. And this is an example where you can see a lot of acanthuses. These are all acanthuses. So this is a Corinthian capital. For Greek column, we have three orders: Doric, Ionic, and then Corinthian, on which I will make a separate video, but I want to explain you simply that Corinthian was the last of the order and it was most popular because it was the most ornate due to these acanthuses. Here you can see the leaf going and then curving. And we also have image of Buddha. A Byzantine quasi-Corinthian capital, Basilica of Saint Apollinaire Nuovo, Ravenna, Italy. Quasi-Corinthian will be like a related to Corinthian capital, not exactly. Quasi means near related. These are the acanthuses. Then a Romanesque quasi-Corinthian capital in the church of Saint Philibert, France. Here the acanthuses, they are a bit more straight. Then this one is a Gothic acanthus on a corbel of the Vienne Cathedral, France. And this here we have a Renaissance acanthus on the facade of Hospital of the Innocent, designed by famous Renaissance architect Filippo Brunelleschi, who is also credited with the invention of linear perspective. This is in Florence, Italy, and this design element is called tondi. And the design of American Association of Pediatrics is based on one of these tondi. So this is basically a ceramic work that was designed by Andrea della Robbia, who is famous for his ceramic works. Then these are Baroque acanthuses on a garden vase that is designed by Claude Ballin, and it's in Garden of Versailles, France, 1665. You can closely look at the acanthuses. And then we have Rococo acanthus decoration on a wall of the Oval of Salon of the Princess in Hotel de Soubise, Paris, by German Boffrand, 1740. These are very long and slender. And here we have a palmette, a Rococo palmette. Then finally we have new classical acanthuses on the ceiling of Salon de Sept Cheminée. Louvre Palace, Paris, designed by Francis Thierry. Here we can closely look at the acanthuses. Here, all over here. Then again we have other motifs like agenda, scrolls, then rosettes that we are going to study in the next part of the series. So please hit the bell icon so you don't miss the update. So this is the end of the lecture. Thanks for learning. Please subscribe if you like the content, because story of art is the story of us all. Thank you.